there's been a talk going on for a long time. Kevin Samuels even predicted this, right? The whole winter is coming. Y'all remember that? I think he did that a year or so ago, where he was like, "Hey guys, the economy after the pandemic, it's not looking like it's going to be great, and this is going to disproportionately affect women, black women in particular." He talked about that, and so now fast forward, here we are, and we're starting to really see the effects of a declining economy that, based upon whoever you talk to, doesn't seem like it's going to be letting off anytime soon. So this is a real threat, and this is not just a black woman thing, a black man thing. I mean, everybody is really feeling the pinch of what's going on. So you guys, the economy is changing, and of course that is going to impact relationships. It absolutely does. Relationships are deeply connected with the economy and families, and the ability for families to come together and build. And so a lot of people are feeling that. This is partially why, even among millennials, you're seeing them delay marriage or marry later, partially due to economic challenges and having a harder time getting on their feet than some of their previous, their parents or grandparents. So this is all this stuff is going on. All this stuff is going on. Yet notice, what I continue to notice is that it doesn't seem like, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't necessarily seem like there is a big push in different femininity spaces to couple expectations or dating expectations with what is actually happening in the economy. What do I mean? It's a recession, y'all, for all intents and purposes. Like I said, people are making their money just isn't going as far as it was. But even with some of those different economic challenges, it does not necessarily seem that there is a willingness in the dating and mating market for the expectations to change. I still go online and I see a lot of talks of luxury. I see a lot of talks of hypergamy. I see a lot of talks of women, living their best life. I go on Instagram and I see young women, young girls, young couple, whatever it may be, in positions of like lavishness. I mean, you're talking about in spaces where, retirees would be expected to hang out. Retirees, what they're doing. You know what I mean? And it creates this expectation that, my humble opinion, that these young girls, these young women are supposed to have this lifestyle handed down to them on like a silver platter. And I've talked to enough men who are quite frankly frustrated with the fact that sometimes a woman won't even really want to go out with them because they can't afford to necessarily take them to the top of the top restaurant. I remember talking to a college student, person's going to a really great college, studying now to get his PhD. And he mentioned how he was running into issues with different women in his class, different women, his peers, who had expectations of him having to like not only fit the bill, but him having to drop a couple $100s. It's college students. So it's like there is this expectation that I feel of luxury and lavishness and nice things. And listen, I'm the first one to tell you that I love being in nice places. I love having fun experiences. I'm not saying I don't want to have nice things. I'm not saying I don't want to have nice clothes. It's like, yeah, every woman in America wants nice stuff. Like, let's just call it what it is. Everybody wants that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve it. And it also doesn't mean that it's just going to be handed to you on a silver platter. And like I said, unless you're born to a trust fund or you're like in the celebrity class, most people don't just wake up and it's just given to them. You know what I mean? Like even previous generations, housewives, they still had to support their husbands. They still had to budget and save. They still had to do different things. Like they still had to actually manage their finances. Like it wasn't just like they were just splurging and going on vacations every other week and they were buying new, designer bag. Like, no, they had to save. They had to budget. They had to live within their means to get the stuff that they wanted. These, like I said, these are even stay-at-home housewives who right now are owning their homes and watching their kids go into college. So it's like, really, for some reason, it seems like our parents, our grandparents understood the importance of budgeting, of finances, of having a realistic understanding of what it means to achieve nice things. I'm not saying that you can't achieve nice things. I'm not saying you can't go for it. You can absolutely go for it. But the expectation shouldn't be that in your like teens, in your 20s, you're just supposed to have it. And men are just supposed to give it to you. And if they don't give it to you, then they are not on your level. That I think is toxic. And what I am seeing is that while this idea, this fantasy life continues to be promoted and sold to women, this black woman in luxury, this black girl magic luxury, this messaging that continues to be sold to women, it's not actually matching with reality. It's not tempered with people's day-to-day experience. And I think not only is that incredibly dangerous, it sets women up, in my humble opinion, for false expectations. And that is quite frankly, that can lead to a lot of problems. So there's two quick things I want to, companies, they thrive off of the fantasies and the dreams of women. I know this as a person who was a marketer and who literally sat in marketing meetings where there would be entire groups who would sit down and write out stories and write out narratives and write out, okay, who is a target audience that we want to meet? What is their age range? What's their ethnicity? What's their education? What are their interests? And you would literally sit down and create profiles and figure out how to create stories to connect with these kinds of people so they would actually buy your products. So these companies who are marketing, they're incredibly intelligent. They're smart. They know what they're doing. They are selling a dream, and they are tapping into the desires, and they are tapping into the fantasies of women. But oftentimes it is at the expense of the reality. And again, those fantasies or dreams, there's nothing wrong with the dreaming, there's nothing wrong with having goals. But when those goals are not tempered with reality, and then when they are not tempered with, expectations of it's what you're going to have to do to get there, it ends up being disastrous, quite frankly. Reason? And I don't know what it's necessarily going to take for maybe there to be a large cultural shift, if you will. I don't know what it will take. But this is why we're having these conversations. Okay, I see. Okay, Mr. Z, I see you. I'm almost done. But here's one this comment that I thought was fantastic. I thought it really hit on summed up a lot of what's going on here. So it's from Andre Foxman. I hope I did not butcher your name. Forgive me if I did. But it says, you can't have the benefits of patriarchy and also reject the patriarchy. All those women are delusional. A sugar baby may get the taste of luxury life here and there. And that's what I said before. Yeah, a sugar baby, somebody who was just a hit and quit it, you might have a nice stay at a hotel. They might fly you out to a luxury resort. Maybe if you're lucky to even get that far, you might have a nice dinner. They may even buy you a couple of purses or some shoes. So you'll have it here and there, but is it going to be your everyday lifestyle? Probably not. But nevertheless, a sugar baby may get the taste of the luxury life here and there, but the women who live a truly luxurious life are either born to such a life or married to a man, usually for a considerable period of time, who provides it to them as an act of gratitude for their support in the marriage. If you want that life, you have to marry young, be a supportive wife, and from the start, pick a man who was disciplined and driven. On top of that, be willing to hold down the fort with children alone most of the time because he's going to be working. 99.999% of women who think that they are going to wait on the sideline for a successful man are going to be extremely disappointed, particularly most Black women. Even more so those who have a history with Pookie and Ray Ray. So, I thought that pretty much summed up. It pretty much summed it up.